Welcome again to the Flower of Freedom. This is chapter 15 today. It's entitled, France Wants Marie Back. As always, your seat is ready, and we've been waiting for you to come because it's never the same without you. Make sure you're comfortable, and I'll begin to read the next chapter. As always, all the rights to the book and to my presentation of it are reserved. Chapter 15. France Wants Marie Back. Even when she got to be a very old woman, Marie cherished the memories of her childhood. She and Bertie had good school years. Life was very good during those times. There was always something fun to do, and they had many friends, books and sports. They never lacked for love. They never once doubted the love of their parents. One day when the twins were in high school, that creepy guy from the sugar shack showed up at their apartment. He knocked on the door. When Oscar answered, he asked to speak to Marie. Oscar told him that there could be nothing he had to say to Marie that would be appropriate, so no, he could not speak with her. Oscar's words were steely. The man got surly and he threatened to call the police. What charge? Oscar laughed. Kidnapping, said the man with a growl. Who the hell are you? Oscar demanded. You're nuts. The man thrust forward his card. It was identical to the one that he had given Marie years before. Oscar read it. It said, Von Pisard, private investigator. What is this about? What do you want with my daughter? Oscar demanded. Your daughter, the man mocked. Yes, my daughter, Oscar retorted, and by then he was really riled up. State your business immediately, or I will call the police myself. I've dealt with plenty of smarmy collaborators like you in my time, Monsieur Pisard. Go ahead and call the police, Monsieur Saint Laurent. I have all the documentation in order in this briefcase. You adopted that child under false pretenses, and we both know it. I think you should be arrested. Her family has been looking for her since right after the war. You can call the police, or you can let me in to talk about what my client wants. Eager to resolve this quickly, Oscar reluctantly ushered the man into the living room to hear him out. Oscar asked his wife to join them. Colette sent Bertie and Marie to their rooms. They remained in the bedroom while the adults spoke, but they were aware of everything that went on. They sometimes called themselves the Nosy Parker twins, and it was for good reason. Mr. Pisard told them that he had been hired by Anne-Marie's aunt and uncle, a childless couple from Paris. He told them that when the Nazis deserted the chateau after retaliating against the town by burning much of it to the ground, the remaining townsfolk discovered the bodies of the owners, but they did not find the body of their teenage daughter. After searching throughout France, the Parisian couple heard that 2 girls had been flown to England the night of the liberation. He hired a private investigator in England who reported that the English refused to keep anyone who was illicitly brought to their shores, and one man remembered that 2 girls were flown on to Canada. That's when I got involved. I got the information that 2 young pregnant women were flown on to Montreal. I searched the birth records. I learned about the children that you pass as twins. I heard that one of the young women died in childbirth. She, strangely enough, was a married woman, a war widow, who just happened to have the same last name as my clients. I have the death announcement that perpetuates the lie that 2 young women were sisters. I tried to approach you years ago, and I got no satisfaction. You present as a happy family, and yet your lives are built on lies. You, Mr. Saint Laurent, told me that your wife was born in Trois-Rivières, and yet she was not. A woman who had no previous history in that town had papers that said she was born there. Her name was Anne-Marie Pomade. Your wife, who also had no previous history in Canada, was born in Gatineau. I knew without a doubt that I was on the right trail. They are obviously not sisters. The birth certificate demonstrates that the girls had different parents, entirely different parents. That makes the adoption null and void. It's based on an absolute falsehood. An additional falsehood is that the child has no living family. In fact, this child has living relatives in Paris who have possession of the estate, which is properly owned by the young lady. This family lost so much in the war. They have no other family, and they want their niece returned to them. They have authorized me to tell you that should you put up any obstacle in their way, they are prepared to have you arrested for kidnapping and expose you to the full extent of the law. They are not inclined to be flexible because you've already stolen 16 years from them. With that, Marie and Bertie burst into the room. Marie stood pushing a red-faced Bertie back with her hands. He was enraged. If you think that you're going to take my sister from me, you have another thing coming, Bertie roared. Young man, she is not your sister. She's the niece of my clients, and they want her back. You are not the good guy here. You are a selfish person who is aiding and abetting the destruction of another family, said the pug-faced man, balling his fists. Marie's mother spoke up and said, "It's time for you to go, Mr. Pissant. I have your card, and you have our phone number. Give us time to consider the information you have shared. Consider what it will do to our family. Do not forget that we are a family, and we have been so for more than 16 years. Do not underestimate the love we have for one another." End of chapter 15. Thank you for coming.
Great. Thank you.